Good afternoon, Niner fans. We are back with my man Ted with another episode live on a Monday afternoon. How are we doing, Niner fans? How are we doing, Ted? How are you feeling, my man?
Hey, always good to be on with you, Raj. Sorry I didn't make it out to more of the training camp dates, but it was great to see the two that I've been so far. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. You'll be there Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday. The last two, a little sad that it's coming to an end. I got to get back to actually working, which I don't like. So yeah, it's been fun. It was great to see you for those 2 days that you were there, especially the day you brought the bottle caps. It was a good stuff. So but yeah, so training camp. I didn't really go online live this weekend, but I mean everybody's heard what's been going on, right? Yesterday very light practice. They didn't have the pads. Saturday, man, was an intense. It was so long. It was the longest practice. They were there till like 12:30. They had like 13 periods. Practice was intense. I mean, oh man. But this is what it is. Dog days of summer. Players have really stood out. Obviously, Diamador Lenore, Deebo Samuel is getting close to the time where those players on the roster bubble, which we've seen, me and you, it's time for them to really show up because preseason's just around the corner. This is the first game week of the season, Ted. And we got a lot of players that are on that bubble, and we'll maybe talk about today, that need to step up or at least prove themselves because they look maybe good in training camp, but this roster's so deep, 53 of them can only make it. So, it's been good times at training camp.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and just good to see how the youngins are progressing. And also some of the, like you said, some of the bubble players.
Yeah.
Sounded like my guy Chris Conley is doing well.
I'll tell you what, Chris Conley has been phenomenal. He's having a camp. He did last year too. He proved to be a very good veteran for us last year, especially in the playoffs. So he's having a camp, man. And this weekend was no exception. But let's talk about receiver. This is the guy that everyone wants to talk about. There's some rumors flying right now. In the last 20 minutes, Cam Marino. I don't know. He's the guy that kind of got this rumor trade started over the week with Brandon Ayuk. He tweeted out, the 49ers have traded Brandon Ayuk to the Steelers. This is breaking news from Cam Marino. He says the Steelers and the 49ers have agreed to a trade that sends star receiver Brandon Ayuk to Pittsburgh. I haven't seen anybody else post about it. I haven't seen Rappaport. I haven't seen Schefter post this. This Cam Marino guy, he's saying that they have agreed to trade Brandon Ayuk to Pittsburgh. This is what the latest news is. Cam Marino says 49ers. Now, is this actual? Did it really happen? We don't know. Now, the other news is, and this is what Adam Schefter kind of pointed out today, and similar to what Mayoko said, yesterday Mayoko said the ball's in Brandon Ayuk's court. It's going to be up to him. And Schefter took it one up and says, just because the 49ers have a trade in place doesn't mean that it's going to happen because Brandon Ayuk has to agree to on the trade. So they can set it all up, make a nice trade happen, but Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to play there. He can say the hell with you. Let me play the clip from Schefter, and then I want your thoughts on the situation. So this is kind of what I feel is going on. Let me see.
How about Trent?
I think every team out there just is wondering, like, the longer this goes on, do we jump in and make a call on Brandon Ayuk? Would they listen to our offer? New England certainly, I'm sure, would love to have a guy like Brandon Ayuk. But again, it takes two sides to tango. You got to satisfy the 49ers if you're ever going to make a deal, and the player has to be willing to take the contract from your organization. And even though he doesn't have a no-trade clause in his contract, he has an unofficial no-trade clause, Brandon Ayuk does right now, because if he doesn't want to go to a team, he could say, I'm not taking that contract, and then why is that team going to give up the amount of compensation it would take to go get him if they know that they can't get him under a long-term deal?
I thought you were going to say the unofficial trade clause was the fact that the Niners say we could have it for 3 more years if we want. We got 1 more year in the contract and we got 2 franchise tags. Yeah. I thought that was the unofficial no trade clause that is being held by one particular party in there.
And Judon
Brandon Ayuk has got an unofficial no trade tag, or an unofficial no trade clause, because he has the ability to say to these teams, I'm not taking a deal if I don't want to go there. And if he's not taking the deal, then why would the team give up assets, draft capital, to go get a guy like that if he is showing or telling them
has that happened?
He's not willing to commit there long term?
Has that happened? Do you know of, or are you just saying hypothetically?
We're talking hypothetically right now.
Okay, yeah, because this has happened in the past, obviously, where teams have wanted to make a play for somebody, and then the player has said, we are not going to agree to a deal if you trade for us. So it's a waste of assets, and it's never going to happen. That has taken place in the NFL's history before. But the fact that the Niners have 3 years potentially in their eyes, and Ayuk potentially has places he wants to go that are kind of, that potentially, I don't know if anything happens.
There it is. Adam Schefter says there's a kind of a no trade clause. It's like it's not in there, but it's, a non-technical, what do you think, man? What do you think about this revelation? Cam Marino saying Brandon Ayuk to the Steelers is a fake. This tweet's going to make or break this guy, Cam Marino. What do you think about it? What do you make about all this?
Well, let's start with that. Cam Marino, who? I'm not going to believe anything about an Ayuk trade until it's like a big name, like an Adam Schefter, like Tom Pelissero, some of the bigger names out there. So Ian Rappaport, those type of names, then I'll believe it, or the Niners themselves if they announce it. Other than that, Cam Marino, I don't believe that. But no. To be fair, I didn't believe that it would ever come to this. I didn't believe the Niners would ever line up a trade. I thought Ayuk wanted to play for the Niners. I thought the Niners wanted Ayuk to play for them. And so I got to say, maybe I was a little too comfortable this offseason that, hey, everything's fine. It's all going to get done. But clearly the Niners have called his bluff. Mm-hmm. Brandon said, I got this hand. I want a trade. Niners said, here's your trade. And he goes, I don't want to go there.
I don't want to go there. Don't send me to this team. I don't really want to go there.
The Patriots, that's basically NFL Siberia right now.
Yeah, can you imagine if he goes to the Patriots?
That's Belichick, New England Patriots.
They got Drake May. That's career suicide. It's like similar to what Devontae Adams did, right? He wanted to go play with his boy Carr with the Raiders. Carr got smoked out of there. And then he's sitting there playing with like Garoppolo and all these other bad quarterbacks. And credit to Adams, he still put out a 1,000-yard season, and especially once they kind of changed their coaching staff. But it's a similar situation, right? He went on a team with a terrible quarterback. A team was just in shambles. Brandon Ayuk's probably realizing, this might be really bad for my career if I leave the 49ers. Where I think he said it before, like, at the end of the day, like, I did want to stay with the Niners. Like, that's where his heart is. He wants to stay with the Niners, but it has to be for the right value, like the right number, the right AAV, right? That's what he's looking for the price tag that he wants. The 49ers gave him whatever they offered. There's been different reports, speculation here and there. We don't know what the exact number they offered him initially.
But a lot of people
maybe they did lowball.
Right?
What's that?
26 million is kind of going around.
We've heard 26. So I've heard 28. I've heard things, in that ballpark. I've heard people say 23. Again, a lot of speculation. If it was a real lowball, then I could see why Brandon Ayuk said, no, I want market value, because the market value has changed so much over the last couple of days.
Well, 23 or 28, that's a big delta for sure. I mean,
yeah. Hold on.
Huge. So I will say I'm a bit surprised. I'm surprised that the 49ers put a trade in place. And I'm, I guess, surprised that Ayuk asked for it and then said no. So I think he needs to put on his big boy pants and either take the trade the Niners set up or sign the damn deal. One or the other.
Here's the thing. It's really the ball is in Brandon Ayuk's court. The 49ers have now said, okay, we've offered you a deal. We've apparently tried to trade you because you called the bluff. You told us, trade me. I'd rather play for another team if you're not going to pay me. They literally set it up, it looks like. And he's saying, no, don't trade me because I like the 49ers because it's a championship team. Now, the ball is in Brandon Ayuk's court. What do you want to do? How much do you want? Where do you want to go if you want to get traded? Like, tell us what you need to do because we need to figure this out. We have a preseason game this weekend. And after that, Ted, game starts September 9th. We're a month away from the season. Figure it out real quick because this is getting old. What do you think Brandon Ayuk wants, and what do you think is a fair value for him? Now that we've seen all this, we've seen more receivers get paid. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think he wants probably 28, 30. And I think the fair value, I've said all along, I think it's 27, 26, right where I think the Niners already offered him. But if it's 23 they offered him, that's low. That's low. I'll admit that.
26 is low.
No, I think 26, 27 is about right.
I honestly, at this point, I say 28, 28.5. 28.5 is good. Like, that to me is the number. Again, maybe you take a $2 million cut to stay with the Niners, but the Niners are a championship team. You'll be a star here. You're going to be the man here with the 49ers. Like, I know you would be you would get 200 targets probably anywhere else. You're not going to get that with the 49ers, but you still put up hell of a season, right? You were very efficient. You probably would have to work as hard as with the Niners. I mean, you still have to work hard. You go to another team, you got to put out 150 to 200 targets. You know, you're out there. You're the man. You are bona fide wide receiver one. But you know what? With the 49ers, you may not. Maybe that's what maybe he wants to be like a Justin Jefferson. I'm that guy. Maybe that's what he wants. But with the 49ers, you don't have to do that. Still put up over 1,000 yards, and you get paid maybe $2 million less, and you're in a championship caliber team. That to me is a win-win. Yeah, you take a few $1 million less to stay on a championship caliber team. I'd rather play with Brock Purdy, Ted, than Drake May. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. And just because he's not number one here now doesn't mean that he won't be number one here for too long. I mean, a lot of people think if Brandon Ayuk stays that Debo goes next year.
Not only that, but you never know how this offense is going to. You never know what can happen. But BA staying on this team is great for Brock and everybody else. But it's also good for BA, man. He's developing here. He has a certain role here, and I know it. He's the fourth option. Maybe he will become the number one option because guess what? Kittle's not going to be on this team forever, Ted. He's getting older. Maybe you take more targets out of him. Christian McCaffrey, as great as he is and as amazing he is, Kyle wants to kind of tone it down on him a little bit. He doesn't want to overwork him because you need to save him for the playoffs. So maybe you take a little bit more than Christian McCaffrey in the offense. And then, Debo. You know, you want to limit him from getting injured. And also next year, he may not be here. So Brandon Ayuk, he may be the fourth option now, but I see eventually he could be number 1 or 2. Most likely 2 because Christian McCaffrey's still there. But I'm telling you, man, Brandon Ayuk, I think the smart move is to stay with the 49ers. I think he's realizing if he truly is turning down a trade, I think that's Brandon Ayuk realizing, the best move for me is stay with the Niners, but we need to figure out this number.
Yeah, it's I'm shocked, honestly, that that's transpired this way.
Yeah,
and
I'm waiting on somebody big to post this. You know what I mean?
And ultimately, I was kind of like not taking sides or anything, but I just say Brandon, stop being a B.
BA, stop being a B. You heard it. Ted said it.
Yeah.
Julius Calloway says Adam Schefter tweeted, but I don't see it. I got my other phone up. We're looking for up. Trust me, I'm looking at my phone just as you guys. The latest tweet from Adam Schefter is from Harrison Butker, kicker from the Chiefs, who extended his contract. We got a kicker extension before.
He might have just got by a fake account.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Whew. It's getting to this high pitch point. I don't know. I hope it resolves itself soon because this whole situation is just getting crazy. But last year Debo, not Debo. I can't talk. Nick Bosa, he wasn't signed to like the very, very last minute. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. Maybe it's the very last minute. I don't know. But the 49ers better not waste their time. They got to get this figured out. Or Brandon, you can't waste our time. Like, if both parties need to just figure this out because the season's around the corner. And there's another guy that needs to get paid. His name is Trent Williams. Let's hear what.
It is a fake Schefter. I just found it. The real handle is Seahawks Cook. So
people getting got.
Yeah.
Here comes the Trent Williams. Let's post this up. This is the Trent Williams news. We'll talk about Trent Williams. We're going to segue from Brandon Ayuk to Trent Williams. Here we go.
How about Trent?
Trent Williams, look, they'd love to work to get him back. They're trying to get him back, figure out a scenario. I think he's got 2 years left on his deal, and you're talking about a Hall of Fame tackle, an elite player.
GOAT, they're saying.
But the one concern you have, he's 36 years old, and so you're going to guarantee more money. And that's the thing. Trent Williams is good enough that he could say to the Niners, "I want more money. I want more money, or I'm not coming." And so that's where they're at. And my guess would be at some point in time that the two sides figure out a way to get this done. But Trent Williams is a very proud guy, very smart guy. He's handled his business at the NFL level in an A+ way. So he knows how to get what he wants. And there's time. Like the fact that Trent Williams is missing camp in late July, early August, that's a favor to him. Like that, he doesn't need to be there. Like as long as he's there August 20th and beyond to get ready for that Monday night opener against the Jets on Monday Night Football, everybody will be okay. If we get to the point 2-3 weeks from now and this is still going on with Trent Williams, that would be, I think, worrisome for the 40s.
So Trent's going to be back, we assume. That's going to be something that's going to be...
Well, you'd like to think that they'll figure out a way.
Ayuk, you think he's back and playing for the Niners starting day?
Again, I think that you just look every day and you look at that situation. He's holding in. He hasn't been out there. There's no resolution. The teams are out there tracking it. They want to see what's going on to see if they can figure out if there's a way to pry him loose. I just think that situation right now is unpredictable.
Okay. Wow. Volatile.
Yeah.
Like, we went back to markets. Markets. We'll stay out of it. I don't need my algo picking up and me saying anything. Let's not use the word market, by the way, around me.
No, never again.
I don't care if you're going to shop. I don't care if you're talking about wide receivers. I don't care if you're doing anything. I don't want to hear it on this particular thing.
Right. Not even a farmer's market?
No, I don't want to hear it. See, you can say farmer's setup.
Sure, okay.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Farmer's markets are good. Farmer's setups are a good time.
Great time.
Very good time.
Delicious.
Very, very good time.
Well, Trent Williams, man. So I feel like Schefter's a little bit more confident about a Trent Williams deal getting figured out than Brandon Ayuk. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one left tackle, and we got lots of wide receivers. And, we got McKivitz and then Jalon Moore, folks. If you want to pin your Super Bowl aspirations on Jalon Moore, yikes. That's not going to go well. Yikes.
Yikes.
Sheesh. Trent Williams got to happen. Got to make that.
But that's the thing about Trent Williams that, and I love him. He's worth the money. He's the guy. Cut him a check. He wants guaranteed money. Give it to him. Now, how much is too much? He's making what, like 23 now. I know he maybe wants to be aligned with the top, lineman. I know Tristan Wirfs got a massive bag. Like I don't think you could pay him Tristan Wirfs money right now.
What did Tristan Wirfs get AAV?
Let me see. I mean, it's not that he's not good
at
Tristan.
Pay him a penny more than Panay. But that's outdated. That was before the Wirfs deal.
Tristan, well, let me see. I can't remember exactly. Let me pull it up. But I mean, the thing about Trent Williams is it's not that he's not better than those guys. He's the best left tackle in the last 2 decades. But the thing about Tristan Wirfs is he's young. He's in his prime. Trent Williams has had contract extensions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that he hasn't. Like how much is too much at some point?
I mean, I think it's more the time than the money, like he was alluding to. 37 years old.
Yeah.
He could play till he's 41, like Whitworth did, but Joe Staley sure didn't. So
that's true. It's true.
It's I think he'll only play until he wins a ring, but if that happens, I think he'll be done.
I think if he wins a ring, he hangs it up. That's right. He just wants to guarantee money. He doesn't have anything because if he got hurt, he'd be SOL. And I understand that. So
yeah, and I've been consistent on that part about how the Niners always try to be tricky with these little contracts. They're like, hey, we give Trent Williams a 6-year deal, but we all knew really it was 2 3-year deals. And so at the end of the 3rd year, they had outs so that the 49ers could get out of it if he got injured, if he fell off a cliff, just wasn't, if he was injured whatever the case may be. But then it opened up the door if he also played really well that he can negotiate for more money, and that's what's happening. And
correct.
More power to him.
The Niners always have those outs in their contract, but at the same time, the players If
an
they exceed
in for Trent Williams.
expectations, they need to get their value, which I
Yeah,
understand. Like
it's
Trent's
an
still
in for
at
them.
his
Yeah,
age, Ted, at his age, he's still playing like
yeah,
top 5. It's
yeah.
amazing.
And you know, I said it again and again and again. These guys risk their current and future well-being every time they step foot on the field. So you can't really begrudge them for wanting to get the most money possible for their you know, long term, for their family and everybody else moving forward. So I mean, you know, they are employees, and the NFL is a mega corporation, and you know, it's hard not to side with the employees. I mean, I understand it means it's harder for us to sign other employees to the team.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we had other options, hey, you know, like we do at wide receiver, then I might be more like, all right, sorry, Trent, your time has come. But unfortunately, we haven't drafted a freaking tackle since Mike McGlinchey. And, you know, and how'd that go? So the Niners where they had all the leverage with Brandon Ayuk. They have zero leverage.
They have zero with Trent Williams because, like you said, Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz, no disrespect to them, they're not Trent Williams. Like, if they're your starting tackles, you got a problem. Brock Purdy's not going to be too happy. You know, I had a patient this morning. I went to his house. We were working, you know, and you know, I was talking to him about Niners. He goes, yeah, man, you're working me hard today, Rogers. Like, I got to get you better so maybe the 49ers can sign you. He goes, what are you going to do? Put me at left tackle? He goes, Brock Purdy won't like that. Yeah, that's the thing. Brock Purdy is the man. Like that even my patient knew, like, we need to make sure we have the strongest force, the strongest wall in front of Purdy. You don't want him to get hurt. That's our guy. We have a franchise quarterback. You got to protect that man. So I'm looking at the Tristan Wirfs deal. So he signed a 5-year, $140.63 million contract extension, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history.
Just a whisker more than Penasil, $28 million.
Yeah, 28. So there you go.
28 million, 10,000 for Trent Williams is going to work now. It's going to have
28
to be like,
that's the Brandon Ayuk money. You're going to give him 28 mil. That's the whole thing. So he wants 28 mil.
28.
Brandon Ayuk wants 30 mil. That's what, 58 million between two guys.
That's one more reason why you can't pay Ayuk 30 million.
That's the reason. Now, imagine. I'm just throwing this out there, hyperbole, a little assumption, whatever, speculation. I know there's the trade rumors and stuff. Let's say it's true. Let's say Cam Marino fucking takes the biggest dub of Twitter history and he calls this out, right? And they do trade him. In that whole moment, whatever, if that works out, immediately, they better have that Trent Williams contract like down, figured out. Like, if you trade Brandon Ayuk, you better make sure that Trent Williams is getting paid like the next fucking second. Like, breaking news, back to back. That's what I need.
Yeah, you can't let both of these cats walk. Yeah,
no, you can't. You can't let this be, because honestly, if I'm Trent Williams, again, 36 years old, I've been in the league for a long time. I've pretty much been, what is he, multi-Pro Bowler, multi-All-Pro, regarded as one of the greatest left tackles in the NFL history. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame. To me, he is. You can argue it. Some people say maybe not. You know, the way that they are. He hasn't won a championship, but he is a Hall of Famer if he hung it up today. He has nothing left to prove. If he wanted to, if they're not going to give him the money he wants, he can retire today, Ted, and be a happy man.
Absolutely. But you know he wants that ring.
No, he does.
Because with the ring, he's absolutely first ballot. First
ballot.
No questions asked. Just slam dunk city. So
slam dunk, home run. Yeah, you're right. I don't know, man. Both of these contracts have been stressful. And it's crazy because usually we have one big contract. Right now we have two really intense contracts. So I hope they figure it out. But in the meantime, with Brandon Ayuk not being at training camp, Ricky Pearsall has looked very good, contested catch monster. But is he at Brandon Ayuk's level? Not yet. We've seen him. He looks good. He's like a Ferrari. You know, they got to tune him up. He looks like he could be very good on this team in training camp. But again, he's not doing everything. He's not doing the whole route tree. He's still young, still developing. Can he block like Brandon Ayuk? He showed some flashes here and there, but that's why you need to keep Brandon Ayuk for at least this year. You need to make sure Ricky Pearsall develops and becomes the guy that they want him to be. If it is the end of the Brandon Ayuk era next year, they better hope that Ricky Pearsall develops. So far, I've liked what I've seen out of him in camp, but also there's a lot of pressure on Ricky Pearsall. This is the first round pick that they've had in 3 years. That not having a first round pick really set us back, I feel, in terms of getting a tackle, maybe Trent Williams' replacement, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. Me and you, I know you've been to camp 2 times. I've been there every day. What are some things you took away from being at camp? And I'll go over some things I took away.
I was impressed by Cody Schrader.
Mm.
I was impressed by Ronnie Bell, who I've kind of gone back and forth with. You know, I was like calling him Bell the Bull when he was a rookie, and I was so excited for him. But then he kept having these weird tip interceptions in preseason and in the regular season that I didn't like. And I kind of soured on him. This last offseason, I was saying, boy, with Cowing and Pearsall here, it's like, Ronnie Bell and Danny Gray's days may be numbered. But obviously, Ronnie Bell has kind of turned it around in camp. Hope he can continue to do so. I like what I saw from Malik Mustafa, the new safety. Obviously, Jair Brown's doing well. I don't know, and I don't like what I saw from the offensive line without Trent Williams.
Yeah, they've improved since you've been there. I'll say that. Dominic Pooney, man, he's a good young player. I like what I've seen out of him. Very, very impressive. Cody Schrader, I agree with you. This guy's, man, you want to talk about hard worker. Cody Schrader, he gives you 200% every day. I love what I've seen out of him. Fantastic player. I hope he makes this roster, man. Practice squad, for sure he'll make it, but would he clear waivers? I don't know. He's a very, very good player. Any team would be lucky to have him. He could probably start on a lot of teams, honestly. He led the SEC in rushing. I love him. Ronaldo Green's a dog. Jawan Jennings, man, the other day, he just, they didn't have Debo in there. Obviously, Ayuk's not there, and he took over. Ronnie Bell, very inconsistent, but the last few days, he's had some good days. I like what I've seen out of D. Winters. Really love that young linebacker. Might be linebacker 3 when it's all said and done. I know yesterday Nick Sorensen said that Devondre Campbell pretty much is LB2. So I like what I've seen out of the young linebackers, specifically D. Winters. Jair Brown, man. He's a monster. He had 2 picks yesterday. Guy's all over the place. He's going to be special, man. Who else? Jordan Mason, really good. Really good.
Yeah. When I was there with my buddy John, who is my season ticket holder buddy, who takes me to games and also gave us the code for a lot of these tickets we got for training camp.
Shout out, John.
Shout out to Aggie. He was pointing out that Isaac Yadom came out first to practice that day, and he really liked that because he always tried to be out first when he played high school ball at Sarah High, where Tom Brady went. Before Tom Brady went there, so he wasn't following him. But anyway, bottom line is, it's good to see that maybe Yadom is lined up to be CB3 at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. CB3 definitely looks like it's going to be Yadom's job to lose. A lot of good competition at cornerback this year. But Yadom, man, it's like death, taxes, and Isaac Yadom, number 1 out the gates, first player out. Like, for the most part, I think out of 9 practices I've been to, he's been out for 7 times. I want to say 7 times, 6 or 7 times.
Taking over Huff's role.
Yeah, he's amazing, man.
First out all last year. Yeah, and he's really long. He's not real big guy, but he has really long arms and legs, and he's slender, but he's
very slender.
Yeah, but he looks like kind of like the prototypical, honestly, like kind of like LOB type of.
I was just, man, in my mind, I was thinking like Richard Sherman, just long and gangly. Long arms. He's going to go up there and like knock it down. I've seen his film. I've watched some highlights. I looked at his game. I like him. He's a very sticky guy. He's very physical, and that's what I've seen out of training camp. Now, I mean, he has been perfect. There's definitely plays where he got cooked on. Like Debo, one of the best plays at training camp was last. I don't know if you were there. Maybe you were. Deep shot, left side, Debo Samuel from Brock Purdy. I mean, you were there. That was when Debo, he cooked Yadom off the line, just cooked him off. And, I mean, you ready? He had him beat so fast, and you could tell Brock saw him, just boom, dime, 60 yards. I was like, whoa. That was probably the worst play Yadom had, but it was against Debo. And I'll tell you what, Debo Samuel has had a fantastic training camp. If we're talking about best player at training camp right now, he's probably going to be my training camp MVP is Debo Samuel. He has been unbelievable. He finally got a day off yesterday. He gave him a day off.
I was totally laughing at that because you posted like literally was it the practice before? You're like, oh, no rest for Debo. Like, oh, well deserved day of rest. I was like,
Yeah. I think Kyle was like, okay, we
yeah.
need to
He was
get
like, I'm
maybe.
gonna get Raj here.
Kyle's like, we need to give this boy a day off. Yeah, I was like, no, because every day I noticed, I was like, Debo's there every day because you got everybody else taking days off. CMC, Bosa, all these guys, they get their days off. Here come Debo. Here come Debo. Here come Debo. And I'm like, I noticed stuff. I was like, Debo Samuel, respect to him. No days off for Debo. Then boom, the next day, I'm like, where the hell is Debo? Day off, man. Day off. But you know what? If
He's just
anything,
Kyle's messing with you, just like he
no, if
messes with
anything, Debo
Grant.
can thank me for getting him a day off. Debo, you're welcome.
There you go.
Debo, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Debo, you're welcome.
Power of Raj.
Yeah, we got him the day. We got him the day off, man. Needed that.
Huge.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, man, camp has been fantastic. It's been fun. I don't know. Hopefully, it would be more fun if Brandon Ayuk was there and Trent Williams. But hey, these are the things that are going on with the 49ers.
No doubt about it. And Brandon Allen's still doing well?
Yeah, him and Josh Dobbs have been definitely going back and forth. Brandon Allen has been Brandon Allen, but he's looked okay. He hasn't looked horrible. Josh Dobbs has picked it up. I still think if today season started and they had their depth chart, I'm thinking Brandon Allen's number 2 right now, ahead of Josh Dobbs. But preseason, that's where you make your name if you're on that roster bubble. So I guess we could talk about this before we wrap it up. Our last topic, roster bubble. Now, preseason starts this week. We play the Tennessee Titans on Saturday. I'm excited. Obviously, no starters are going to be there. You know how it goes. Now, who do you think needs to show out in preseason to not only make this team, but maybe even make the practice squad? Like who needs to show up? Like who's on the roster bubble to you, Ted?
Ambry Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. That's probably the number 1 name on my list. But yeah, I also mentioned already Danny Gray. Ronnie Bell, I thought was, but I think he's doing a little bit better. But again, he's got to show it in preseason. He's got to at least keep up the good work.
Yeah.
But I guess the wide receiver room just got a little less impacted if the Niners actually did put together a trade for Brandon Ayuk. I mean, and on those lines, like I don't trust this Cam Marino guy, but I do trust the Pittsburgh Steelers because they were the first name we all heard in the offseason. And there was all that sort of flirting between Ayuk and Mike Tomlin too. Remember, like somebody was saying they looked alike, and Ayuk was like, "Oh, I'd love to play for this." I don't know if he said I'd love to play for them, but there was definitely a little bit of flirting going on from the Steelers to Ayuk and Ayuk to the Steelers. So it wouldn't shock me if the Steelers did eventually trade for Ayuk, or if that's the trade that the Niners put in place. But I don't trust this Cam Marino guy.
I don't believe Cam Marino. He's definitely no Dan Marino. I think if it's up to, this is what I think. I've heard the Browns as being one of the destinations. I don't think Brandon Ayuk would say no to the Browns. Other than the fact that it's cold, there's nothing to do in Ohio. He doesn't want to have his family there. I think the Patriots may be the team that the Niners had something cooked up for. But what do they have to offer other than first? They don't have anything like immediate. Kendrick Bourne, but he's a wide receiver 3 at best. You're not replacing BA. So I find it hard to believe that the 49ers would have a mega deal in place with the Patriots. But I do think that Brandon Ayuk would turn down a deal with the Patriots. Pittsburgh definitely seems like a realistic trade possibility. It's been something that's going on. I don't think Brandon Ayuk would turn down a trade to the Steelers unless he realizes he has a better chance to stay with the Niners. But again, who knows? Who knows what it is? Now, to me, people that need to really show out in training camp, Debbie has Cameron Latu. This guy needs to have a fucking preseason. He needs to have a preseason. He's had some moments in camp, but he's just so inconsistent. That tight end room is, honestly, all the tight ends need to have a good preseason. If they want to make this roster, tight end is still wide open. I couldn't tell you who the tight ends are going to make this team other than George Kittle. I think Eric Saubert is tight end too. Like I've seen a little bit more of him than anybody else on this team. I'd probably say Eric Saubert's tight end too. But everybody else, they're all on the bubble to me, all the other tight ends. So I agree with you on Ambry Thomas. It's his 3rd year. he just hasn't gotten better, man. He still can't practice. He has some flashes here and there, but he's not consistent. You got cornerbacks that are way ahead of him on the depth chart. Now, there's a guy, Gerald Luter, who I really like. The Niners seem to like him, but he just hasn't been healthy. He's dealing with another hamstring issue. I need this guy to come into preseason and be healthy and show out because I really think Cameron or Darrell Luter could be a very good player. But yeah, he needs to be on the field. That guy needs to show me something. And I like Robert Beal Jr. I need to see something out of him, though, because the same thing like Luter just hasn't been on the field too much. So I feel like those guys are really, on the line, bubble-wise. And the whole offensive line, man, they got to show me something big. So
should say hi to Aaron.
Yeah, big Aaron, 49 First Takes in the house. He said what's up to us. Appreciate you, my boy.
Good to see you. Yeah, Cam Latu. I mean, man, he just so disappointing. So disappointing.
Third round pick.
Yeah, and you know who's disappointing too? I mean, especially if you're telling me Saubert is in line to be TE2. I thought for sure that had Logan Thomas's name all over it. Remember how excited I was about him?
Yeah, he hasn't even been. He's been hurt too. He's been dealing with injuries himself.
Okay, all right. At least, and he's old, so I guess
he is.
Makes sense.
But he hasn't been on the field. I've seen the last 2-3 practices. I saw him on street clothes, not practicing. He's banged up, so it's unfortunate. He may not make the team just because of the injury risk. Their injury issues. Looks like he might have been a camp body. Ronnie Bell, that's another guy. You kind of hit the head on the head, nail on the head. Wide receiver in general. You got so many guys. Okay, you have obviously B.A., Jennings, Debo, and Persall. Those are your 4 guys. They're on the roster. Okay. After that, Jacob Cowing, he's been dealing with the hamstring. Will he be automatically number 5? I don't know. You got Ronnie Bell. You got Trent Taylor, who's been having a good camp. He's a good return man. Who's going to be the return guy? Danny Gray, you mentioned. Chris Conley. Guys had a fantastic camp. This receiver group is wide open. Tariq Owens, I don't think he makes a roster, but he needs to fight to make the practice squad so they can continue to develop him. So wide receiver, very, very, very intense competition. We mentioned the cornerbacks. Even, I said Luter and Ambry Thomas, but there's more guys. Sam Womack, just a lot of depth. Rocky Sin, linebackers are crazy. You got Jalen Graham, D. Winters, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, and so many other guys. Tatum Bethune, the rookie, Curtis Davis. This team has so many insane roster depth positions that preseason is really going to weed out who belongs on this team or doesn't. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Me too. Can't wait.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else you got, Ted, for me today?
Nothing I can think of.
That's it. I just hope that the Brandon Ayuk situation gets figured out soon.
Maybe that Cam Marino thing was the real deal. Maybe he really did break it, and it was the Steelers, and that's who Brandon Ayuk said no to.
Maybe. That's Because
if you look at the timing, he said it was 55 minutes ago. I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit late. I don't know. I thought it was a little bit earlier than that.
Cam Marino. This guy right here, he's got 7.
He said it was about 20 minutes before we went live, and that's
so it's been about 30. Yeah, so 56 minutes. So that's about.
Maybe that is what happened. Maybe it was the Steelers. Maybe Ayuk wasn't so flirty with Mike Tomlin after all. When push came to shove, he swiped left.
Maybe this is Cam Marino, young dapper gentleman. This is Cam Marino.
It says like draft stuff or whatever. So again, I don't know.
He says he's the national NFL analyst. He's a lead draft writer for NFLDraftBuzz.com, formerly of the USA Today. He's got 7.7K followers. When I checked earlier, it was at 7.4, so he's gained quite a bit in the last hour. And I commented on his tweet. I said, this tweet's going to make or break you, my boy.
Nice. I love it. Draw that line in the sand.
I mean, if he hits
we will not forget, Cam.
If he
Cam,
hits,
not Dan.
Man, Cam, imagine if this is true news and he really broke it. That's fantastic, man.
That could definitely make you for sure.
So somebody put feels like this is the PG that Paul George Warriors leaks this offseason just before negotiations fall apart at the last second. So kind of like what you said, maybe this is the news that corresponds with what
Because it said that it's in place, but it didn't say that it had been accepted. So that's sort of what I think that.
So now people are cooking this guy. The ratios are insane. People are saying you were calling Pretty Ricky a fraud and a fake A source. So we will see too. Because the other guy, Pretty Ricky, he was saying a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, and he was nailing a lot of stuff.
I know he was. He actually
was on it.
Pretty Ricky said he retired because he was getting too many like hate messages and death threats from Niner fans about breaking the Brandon Ayuk news. So it's tough. It's a tough game out there.
Well, I mean, it's what happens when you're wrong.
Nah, well, I know you can't mess around with the fan base.
No.
If you are 100% right and you're really breaking news, you need to be 100% with it. But it's a tough situation because we all, we're conditioned to believe the big source reporters, Schefter, Rappaport, Mike Garofalo, Tom Pelissero. In the NBA, you got Woj and Shams. Other than that, you ain't believing anybody else. And if it is, you're waiting for Schefter to pick up that news and maybe source them or retweet them. Because I've seen it where somebody I really don't know tweets something, and then I seen Rappaport like retweet it. I'm like, oh, this is real deal, so.
Then I'll believe. Till then, it's all talk.
Yeah. We'll see, man. Well, Ted, how's the rest of your week shaping up? I know me and you Wednesday at the final open training camp on Dwight Clark Day. I'll see you then.
8-7, baby. Yeah, Dwight Clark Day. I'll see you then. I've got Ryan from No Border Sports tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. and then McNiner on Wednesday at 3:30 p.m.
All right.
Pacific.
Looking forward to all that. You guys check it out. Make sure you follow my boy Ted. Ted Talks Ball there. Go follow him. Give me a follow if you aren't. If you're watching this, you probably are. So thank you for the support. Look forward to getting back to training camp tomorrow for the last 2 days. And I just want to say thank you guys for everybody that's been keeping up with all the content. It's been great. It's been fun. And I feel very blessed to be going to training camp. Thank you, Ted, for making sure I get the tickets. So appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
And we will see you the next time I see you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace. Go Niners. Oh, wait, Ted. I got one more thing. I can't believe I forgot. Don't hit that leave button yet. We got one more thing. Let's back up. I totally forgot I had this video. I wanted to play it. Okay, so Brock Purdy, we all know, QB1. We know this is his first season as he didn't have to rehab, first full off season. Did you see how jacked this man is? There was a video from CBS Sports the other day. Oh my God! I'm gonna play the video. Look how big this guy looks like the Incredible Hulk. Let's check it.
I got to ask you about, as you see these contracts at quarterback, is there anything? Are you actually seeing them? Are you paying any attention to what's going on around the league and where you may be situated 8 or so months from now?
For me, it's that's so far down the road, with my situation, and for me, I got to be present right now, right here at camp. I got to be better and grow right now so that I can be the best I can be for this team this year. And obviously, we have a goal at hand and going all the way and winning and finishing it. So that's where my mindset's at. To be caught up in the money and the stat, like all that kind of stuff down the road, I'd be wrong if that's where my mindset was at, and so it's not.
Man, what a humble kid. He doesn't care about the money right now. That's one guy that will have to get paid eventually, and that's going to be a situation. But before we even worry about that, did you see how jacked he is? This guy's yoked, man.
Brock and swole. Have to change that T-shirt from
man.
Rock and roll and Purdy every day.
Bro's been hitting the weights this year. He is swole.
Brock and swole, hoochie coo.
Man, I forgot to share that. I was like, I got to show this. I don't know if everybody saw that video, but I mean, you guys, his arms, they're massive. Remember when he first came in the league? The skinny little guy holding everybody's weights? Looked like me. Now, guys, forget baby Bosa legs. He's got baby Warner arms.
Sure, you're not joking.
Crazy. So, yeah, good to see Brock Purdy looking like a freaking monster out there. He's been having a good training camp. I'm excited to see what he does. If he puts together a season like last year, 60, 65 million a year. We'll see.
Molly Cage.
That's a lot of money, and that's another reason why it's hard to pay BA and Trent, because next year you got Brock Purdy there, and when they pay him, you got other expiring contracts: Greenlaw, Hufanga, Aaron Banks. Can we afford everybody? We can't pay everybody.
So you're saying Tanner Mordecai isn't the next Brock Purdy, like some people thought?
Yeah, he's not the next Brock Purdy, unfortunately. So, unfortunate. Anyways, with that, now we're officially done. So appreciate you, Ted. Appreciate everybody else.
Thanks,
Thank
Rod.
you. I'm going to go hit the arms because I need to look like Brock Purdy. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace. Go Niners.